As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. Welcome back to The Uncomfortable Truth. Today, we're going to talk about a sentence that sounds simple until you actually try to live it. Bill Gates said, as we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. Now, most people hear that and nod along because it sounds nice, more like an inspirational poster type energy. But I want to actually sit in it today because I don't think most of us, myself included, are as good as we think we are. This episode isn't about corporate leadership, it's not about titles, and it's about something a lot closer to home, who you're actually building capacity in versus who you're quietly keeping dependent on you. Family, work, friendships, your own kids. Now let's get into it. In January 2026, a company out of Little Rock, Arkansas, called Lexicon Incorporated, made an announcement that didn't get a lot of national attention, but it should have. Lexicon is a construction and industrial services company, over 3,000 employees across the country. The CEO, Patrick Schuick, had a decision to make. It's the decision every business owner eventually faces. What happens to the company when I'm not the one running it anymore? Now, most owners in that position sell to a competitor, to private equity. Somebody comes in, hashes everyone out, and the culture, the actual people who built the thing, become optional. Schuick didn't do that. He converted Lexicon into an employee-owned company, an ESOP. Every eligible employee, the people pouring concrete, running equipment, doing payroll, none of them are executives. Now they own a piece of the company that they helped build at no cost to them. Their jobs stay the same. Their leadership stays the same. But now when the company grows, they don't just get a paycheck, they get equity. They get a stake in the outcome. Now, here's what gets me about the story. Schuick didn't have to do this. He had an easier, faster, more lucrative exit sitting right in front of him. Selling to a private equity is simpler. It's cleaner. Nobody would have blamed him. Instead, he chose the option that distributed power instead of consolidating it. That's the whole Gates quote in one decision. He didn't just lead the company, he gave 3,000 people a reason to lead it with him. Now, here's where I want to bring in on how I actually think about this, because this isn't just a nice business story. This is a pattern I watch play out everywhere, in families, in friendships, in how people run their own households and their own lives. When you work in systems the way I have, watching who has power and who doesn't, watching what happens when the power gets hoarded versus shared, you start to notice something. The people who call themselves leaders and the people who actually build others people up are not always the same people. Sometimes they're opposites. A lot of what we call strong leadership is actually just control dressed up nicely. Being the one everyone needs, being the one who has to sign off, has to check the work, has to be looped in before anything moves. It feels like leadership because it feels important. But ask yourself honestly, is that leadership or is that a bottleneck with a title? Real leadership, the kind Gates is talking about, requires something most of us are not naturally wired to do. It requires believing other people are capable before you have proof. That's self-determination in action, trusting that the person in front of you, whether it's your employee, your teenager, your partner, your friend, actually has the ability to carry something without you standing over their shoulder. You don't wait until they've earned it by doing it your way first. You hand it over and let them build the capability by doing it their way. I want to be honest about something. This is uncomfortable, and it should be. If it feels easy to let go of control, you're probably not actually letting go of anything that mattered. Now, here's the part that most people skip over when they talk about empowering others, and I'm not going to skip it. Empowering someone else means you become less necessary. Sit with that for a second. If you build someone up to the point where they don't need you to make the decision, run the task, or fix the problem, some part of you loses relevance. And for a lot of us, being needed is where we get our worth, not our confidence, our worth. So when we say we want to empower the people around us, we have to ask ourselves the harder question underneath it. Am I actually willing to become optional? Because that's the trait. You don't get to build the capable, independent people around you and also stay the irreplaceable center of everything. Those two things cannot both be true. This shows up everywhere. The parent who just does everything for their kid because it's just faster. The manager who doesn't delegate because nobody does it as well as they do. The friend who keeps rescuing instead of letting someone figure it out and feel the pride of figuring it out. Every one of those is a person mistaking control for love or control for competence. And every one of those is quietly keeping someone else small, whether they mean to or not. The uncomfortable truth is this. A lot of us say we want to be leaders, who empower others. But what we actually want is to be needed forever. Those are not the same goal. And you can't build the first one while you're still chasing the second. So here's what I want you to do. Not tomorrow, today, right after this episode. Think of one thing, one task, one decision, one responsibility that you are currently holding on to, that it's just easier if I do it myself type of thing. It could be work. It could be at home. It could be with your children. You already know what it is because it came to mind in the first 3 seconds. I want you to hand that thing over completely in the next hour, not help with it, not check on it later, fully hand it over. No oversight, no fixing it after, no redoing it your way once they're not looking. Text them, tell them, give them the whole thing, and then let them do it differently than you would have. That's the actual exercise, not the handing over. Anyone can do that performatively. The exercise is tolerating that it won't be done your way and staying quiet about it anyway. That's what empowering someone else actually costs. Now pay it today. That's the episode. Go do the thing you just thought of. Don't sit on it. Thanks for spending time with me. I'll see you next time.